Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Brigitte Nirambangutse, and I'm from Rwanda. I'm a senior officer in the Rwanda program in GGI. And I would like to welcome you all to today's event on the session entitled Climate Smart Agriculture, Unlocking the Potential of Innovation on Carbon Balance in Africa. This session is hosted by the Global Green Growth Institute, GGGI. So today's event is part of the Global Green Growth Week 2023, our annual global conference designed to promote knowledge sharing on the Global Green Growth Agenda. So the conference is also organized in the margins of GGGI's Assembly and Council joint sessions. This year's event will take place under the theme of Fast Tracking Transformative Climate Actions. So before we start, I would like to invite all our speakers to kindly mute yourselves if you are speaking, and our guests as well. And also, I would like to inform you all that this is being recorded and that the recordings will be available on the event website after the events. We also have Q&A. So if you have any question, an issue, please use the message or the chat room. Someone will come to you and assist you from the organization. And before we start, let me introduce the remarks by our president, GGI President and Chair, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, who's going to share with us special remarks. So I will share my screen. Kindly let me know if you can hear and you can see. Can you see my screen? Thank you.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to the 7th Annual Global Green Growth Week. I speak to you today with a sense of urgency because our one and only planet is facing a crisis of unprecedented proportions. The theme for this year, Fast Tracking Transformative Climate Action, underscores the grave and urgent situation. For many years, I have been emphasizing a simple truth about the climate crisis. There is no plan B because there is no planet B either. The opportunity to save the planet is not for the distant future. Now is the time. We need everyone to join and help tackle the climate crisis, and the policies and solutions need to meet the urgency and severity with boldness and innovativeness. The year 2023 was marked yet again with record-breaking temperatures and severe weather events. To keep global temperatures below the 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold and avert the worst, we must act swiftly and boldly. Therefore, I'm proud that global policymakers, thought leaders, investors, and innovators sectors from all over the globe to discuss solutions to the crisis. And I'm also excited that there will be special spotlight on young people and their pivotal role in a greener future. Programs the least. They therefore have every right to contribute to the solutions, and their creativity and passion will be invaluable assets. With the conclusion of the global take discussions to operationalize loss and damage and other important issues, this year's COP28, which is just weeks away, will be critically important, and I hope the Global Green Growth Week will prove to be a helpful stepping stone to build momentum, hone ideas, and much more. The challenges before us are immense, but so is our collective potential. Let us seize this moment and work together to fast-track transformative climate action. Together, we can secure a safer, greener, and more sustainable world for ourselves and for generations to come. I wish you my best wishes for very productive discussions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for our President Ban Ki-moon for the remarkable responses and also welcoming our guests. It's true that we are in a very immense crisis, but we also have immense potential as togetherness. So he talked about the climate crisis, that there is no planet B, there is no plan B, but we also need to have all of us joining with innovative and transformative ideas, that we must act boldly and swiftly, very quickly. So let's hear our first speaker. He's Mr. Benny Lau, from Head of Business Development and co-founder at C14 Limited. So I would like to have you speaking to us, Mr. Benny. When you are ready, please go ahead. We have 10 minutes each speaker. We will have Q&A after the session. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Just give me some time to share the slides that I have. Just 1 sec.
Okay. You can see the slides. You are on mute. You can put it on a bigger screen as well.
Yeah. Can you see the slides or no?
Yes, we can see. Please enlarge the slide.
Sorry, I'll just start. I'm just going to start speaking and I'll try to enlarge it throughout. So hope you can view it. So just a quick introduction. I'm the co-founder of C14. We are a soil carbon startup based out of Hong Kong. And we are a very small startup company. And we focus on frontier markets such as Mongolia and potentially other countries in the Asia Pacific region. And what's the relevance of us here speaking today? I hope that we can share some of our experience that we have in discussing about soil carbon projects in more frontier countries and the challenges that they face in these kind of projects. So I'm just want to give a quick introduction about typical project development. So typical project development usually starts in the research stage. The research is mostly on the type of land, soil, feasibility studies, ownership rights. And afterwards, usually you have to secure some kind of investment to conduct a more comprehensive feasibility studies. And then once it's been determined that there is development potential in that land, then we will work on the project, and that process will probably take a year or two usually. And there's a lot of documentation, sampling in the process, and all these are written down in the PTD file that's usually shared with either the likes of Vera or Gold Standard. And once it's been approved by the credit agency, then you will finally obtain the carbon credit. So why is this all relevant? So it is, the challenges that we see today. There are four kinds of different factors. Some of them are financial, some of them are legal, some of them technical, and the other kinds of challenges. So we went to Mongolia to give the provincial government a seminar on soil carbon development projects. Now, the challenge that they have at the time is that, number one, for the provincial government themselves, they were just given a green initiative coming from the very top, coming from the president. The president asked different provinces in Mongolia to plant certain millions of trees. And each government the local government has taken all these initiatives to start planting trees. And 2 years into their 10-year plan, they needed more funding. And they've gone out to different local companies and asked for money and capital. And local companies are kind of reluctant in giving a huge amount of money, and they've given money in the form of grants, because it's mostly a corporate responsibility initiative for them, and they're not willing to put a lot of money. So when we met them, they explained to us that is a situation that they were in, and what we were telling them was that, okay, I think number one, you have to turn the project into an asset class rather than just a generic green initiative. And the second point is, the government was so focused on planting trees. Their green initiative is all just about reforestation, and there was not much focus on soil carbon farming in general, like optimal grazing or usage of grassland, or landfill management, managing the methane gas, which also have could drive a huge impact into carbon reduction in the atmosphere. In fact, I think soil carbon would probably have a more immediate impact than reforestation, because it takes a long time to reforest or plant new forests. But for soil farming, actually the impact can be very immediate. So the green initiative, what we explained to them was that, first of all, you need to kind of overhaul the green initiative so that other types of developments are included. So including landfill, methane gas management, soil carbon. Second, we talk about doing feasibility study. They haven't gone into the project thinking about how to turn into asset class, and we've we mentioned that you should do feasibility study and see if you can actually earn carbon credits on all these initiatives on your reforestation effort, endeavor. And the difference is that if you're able to generate carbon offsets, the investors, the companies will see it as an investment rather than a donation to the local government. Once you can generate carbon credits, which is an asset to them, and you can lock in the price of the offsets, then the company can actually calculate the IRR of the project, and they can look at it as an investment, and the amount of money that they can provide as an investment will be a lot greater than a pure donation. So they have to repackage the initiative. So that's one of the challenges they have, is the financial part of the project. Additionally, for soil carbon development project, we also need a lot of PhDs. So the involvement from the local university was at a very early stage. So there needs to be an effort to make sure that you have enough people from the field of science to conduct all these projects together with the government.
Mr. Benny, I'm sorry, you have only 2 minutes left.
Okay.
Can you try to wrap up? Thank you.
Yeah, okay, sure. And also legal ownership and other climate environmental factors should be considered. So I hope this quick experience about our experience in Mongolia can help everyone here when they engage in stakeholders. It could be Africa or other parts of the world. I think these challenges are universal to a certain degree, and we would be happy to talk to anyone who's also dealing with challenges in the field of soil carbon, and we would like to invite also other technological partners, who would like to help us solve some of these problems. I didn't really mention about the technological side, but if there are companies that that can also help us on the technological side, then we a lot of development teams will need them. So that's it. That's a brief presentation from me. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Benny. Thank you for this insightful presentation on soil carbon in Mongolia. I'm sure so many of us will learn from this, from your experience, and what you have to go through from identifying the right soil, then looking for investment to conduct other feasibility studies, but also seeking for guidance on the technology and the partnership with others. So soil carbon has been, in general, neglected. Everyone is looking at reforestation, afforestation, but we are actually forgetting the capital that we have, the natural capital that we have in our hands. So let's go to the next presentation. Our speaker is Mr. Ose Yelkini, Energy Program Officer from Burkina Faso. Please, Mr. Ose, the floor is yours. You will be speaking about solar irrigation pumping systems for sustainable development in Burkina Faso. Mr. Benny, can you stop sharing your screen? You did, I think. Is Mr. Ose, can you hear me?
Yes.
Kindly share your screen.
Thank you. Okay, Isabel, please, can you share my presentation? Thank you, Brigitte, for giving me the floor.
Isabel, can you help with the Mr. Ose's presentation, please?
Yes, we are doing it. Please, Mr. Ose, start your presentation. Thank you.
Okay. So I will start my presentation. I will do it in French.
All right. We have interpreters in English.
Donc, bonjour à tous et merci donc pour l'opportunité que j'ai aujourd'hui de présenter l'expérience du Burkina sur le pompage solaire pour l'irrigation. Ma présentation va s'articuler sur 5 points. D'abord, nous allons situer le contexte, ensuite parler de l'objectif du projet. Nous allons ensuite présenter quelques résultats majeurs du projet et parler d'un cas pratique. Et pour finir, nous allons présenter le business model pour la mise à échelle donc des systèmes solaires au Burkina. Alors, il faut dire que le Burkina Faso est un pays enclavé avec des ressources naturelles assez limitées. Nous avons environ 8 millions de personnes qui vivent sous le seuil de la pauvreté et 90% d'entre elles vivent en milieu rural. L'agriculture est l'activité principale donc des ménages au Burkina, mais malheureusement, les effets de changement climatique affectent beaucoup cette activité. Alors, l'image que vous voyez à gauche, vous voyez une partie verte. C'est la zone qui a été couverte donc par les activités du projet. 4 régions du Burkina ont été concernées par les activités du projet. Alors, quel a été l'objectif? L'objectif était donc d'accroître la productivité agricole à travers l'agriculture climato-intelligente, mais également le remplacement donc des pompes à essence et des pompes diesel par des pompes solaires sur le terrain. Et pour atteindre cet objectif, des activités majeures ont été menées sur le terrain. Il s'agit notamment de l'installation de 50 pompes solaires pour l'irrigation au profit des producteurs. Également des sessions de formation en agriculture climato-intelligente, des formations à l'endroit des femmes pour l'entrepreneuriat vert et également des études qui ont été menées pour la diffusion large échelle des systèmes solaires pour le pompage. Alors, très rapidement, je vous présente quelques résultats majeurs de ce projet. Nous avons pu travailler à installer 50 systèmes de pompage solaire sur le terrain. Nous avons formé 83 techniciens d'agriculture comme formateurs en agriculture climato-intelligente. Et ces 83 formateurs ont pu former environ 1165 producteurs sur le terrain, dont 483 femmes en agriculture climato-intelligente, mais aussi en gestion durable donc des ressources naturelles. Nous avons pu également former 109 femmes en entrepreneuriat vert et 30 conseils villageois de développement ont été formés en gestion durable des ressources naturelles. Alors, je vais échanger avec vous sur un cas pratique. Il faut dire que nous avons mené des investigations sur le terrain, et ce qui nous a permis de savoir que sur le terrain, les producteurs, environ 10% des producteurs utilisent l'irrigation goutte à goutte. 25% d'entre ces producteurs-là utilisent l'aspersion pour l'irrigation et 65% des producteurs utilisent donc l'irrigation donc de surface. Et ces producteurs-là sur le terrain utilisent des pompes à essence pour les besoins d'irrigation. Et c'est environ 46% de ces producteurs qui utilisent donc les moteurs à essence. Également, des moteurs à gaz sont utilisés sur le terrain et c'est environ 26% des producteurs qui utilisent donc des moteurs à gaz. Il y a également des moteurs diesel qui sont utilisés pour les besoins de l'irrigation. La proportion, elle est petite, environ 5%. Mais également, nous avons vu sur le terrain des moteurs diesel ou des moteurs à essence qui ont été modifiés pour fonctionner donc avec le gaz. Et il faut dire que ces 50 pompes qui ont été installées ont bénéficié à 42 producteurs indépendants, individuels, et 8 coopératives de femmes. Et les bénéficiaires avaient environ une superficie allant de 0,34 à 0,53 hectares pour leurs besoins de production. Et les spéculations cultivées étaient la papaye, la tomate, l'oignon et également le piment. L'image que vous voyez à droite, nous avons suivi un peu comment ces producteurs-là utilisent les pompes sur le terrain. Et comme vous le voyez, les périodes d'utilisation les plus fréquentes, c'est entre 10 heures et 12 heures. Et la plus faible utilisation des pompes solaires se situe entre 8 heures et 10 heures sur le terrain. Alors, il faut dire que parmi les 50 pompes qui ont été installées, c'est des pompes qui ont concerné deux types, des pompes immergées et des pompes de surface. Et nous avons donc travaillé à évaluer les performances de ces pompes-là sur le terrain afin de savoir si les producteurs sont satisfaits ou pas. Et ce suivi-là nous a permis de savoir que ces pompes arrivent à satisfaire les besoins en eau des producteurs sur le terrain. Et ce besoin en eau est situé entre 15 mètres cubes et 22 mètres cubes selon donc les régions. Et également, nous avons pu comparer la performance des deux types de pompes et nous nous sommes rendus compte que la pompe de surface est bien plus performante que la pompe immergée en ce qui concerne donc la satisfaction au niveau du terrain. Et également, nous avons travaillé à faire une comparaison directe entre utiliser une pompe solaire et une pompe à essence sur le terrain. Et nous nous sommes rendus compte que le coût de l'extraction de l'eau par le système de pompage solaire revient nettement moins cher par rapport donc au système à essence, au système de pompage à essence. Et également, le système d'extraction d'eau par essence, le coût augmente avec le temps. Voilà, le coût augmente avec le temps. Donc, il est clair que les producteurs vont bénéficier s'ils partent vers les systèmes d'irrigation solaire. Également, nous avons suivi les pompes installées sur le terrain afin d'estimer le gain que ces producteurs-là pourront se faire en utilisant les pompes solaires en lieu et place des pompes à essence. Et nous avons pu évaluer ce gain-là par campagne qui varie entre 68 $ à 142 $, dépendant donc que le producteur utilisait du gazole, de l'essence ou du gaz pour ses besoins donc de pompage. Également, comme vous le savez, le système solaire est très bénéfique pour l'environnement et à travers ce projet, l'installation des 50 pompes pourrait réduire à hauteur de 336 tonnes de CO2 par an à travers donc ce projet. Et également, je vais vous parler du business model. Pour mettre à échelle donc les systèmes de pompage solaire, nous avons mené des études sur le terrain afin de déterminer quel est le business model le plus approprié pour nos producteurs afin d'aller vers une mise à échelle. Et ce qui est ressorti donc de ces études-là est que il serait intéressant que l'État lui-même s'y intéresse en subventionnant à hauteur de 40% le coût de la pompe que le producteur lui-même puisse supporter au moins 10% du coût de la pompe et contracte avec les institutions de microfinance 50% du coût de la pompe comme dette avec pour taux d'intérêt 12%. Ce qui permettrait donc aux producteurs de pouvoir donc rentabiliser au bout de 3 années d'utilisation donc de la pompe. Et les périodes donc de remboursement ont été estimées entre 3 mois, chaque 3 mois pour le remboursement donc du prêt, ou chaque 6 mois, ce qui permettrait donc aux producteurs de pouvoir rembourser l'entièreté de sa dette auprès des microfinances et pouvoir au bout de la 4e année rentabiliser donc la pompe. Et pour
Can you
finir,
wrap up, Mr. Ose?
ok,
Wrap up. Thank you.
ok, thank you. Et donc pour finir, je dirais que abandonnons les systèmes de pompage diesel à essence ou à gaz au profit donc des systèmes de pompage solaire qui est bénéfique non seulement en termes de coûts, de bénéfices, mais aussi pour l'environnement. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ose, for the insightful presentation on pumping systems that I have tried in Burkina Faso. The most interesting message is about how you have tried different models and how you have also gone beyond that and tried to identify the best business model and interest the government to subsidize for the communities to be able to uptake these technologies. And the comparison that you have made is also interesting. I hope we'll get a lot of questions on how to scale up and the challenges you have encountered during the trials. So let's move on to our next speaker, Mr. Shefarao Tafese Gobena. I hope I'm pronouncing your name very well. If not, I apologize. He's Senior Program Officer, Sustainable Land Use and Agriculture Program in Ethiopia. So he's going to present agriculture-based options for increasing soil carbon sequestration in Ethiopia. The floor is yours, Mr. Tafese. Will you be presenting yourself, or is Isabel helping you? Please share your screen. Can you put it on a slideshow? Thank you. Please go ahead. We can see your screen. Can you hear me, Mr. Shefarao?
It seems you are muted.
Yes. Put it on a slideshow again. Shefarao, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. Put it on a slideshow, please.
Okay. Can you see my slide now? Bridget, sorry for the inconvenience.
Yes, yes, perfect. Please go ahead. You have 10 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on which part of the world you are joining this presentation. So my name is Shibara Tapasa. I work for GGI Ethiopia Country Office as Senior Program Officer for Sustainable Land Use and Climate Smart Agriculture. So in this presentation, I will focus mainly on agricultural-based options to increase soil carbon sequestration in Ethiopia. So in my presentation, I will focus mainly on soil carbon sequestration, but I will also give you some brief background regarding biophysical context of Ethiopia, and then I will delve deeper into the soil carbon sequestration. And of course, I will also try to explain agriculture-based soil carbon sequestration practices, especially which are being adopted by smallholder farmers in the country. And again, I will also briefly talk about adverse consequences of depletion of soil organic matter, both ecological as well as economical. And finally, I will complete my presentation with a few concluding remarks. So Ethiopia is one of the big countries in Africa, and in terms of topographic features, it encompasses high in the rugged mountains, and also in terms of altitude, it is quite striking. There are areas where altitude reaches up to 110 meters below sea level, and also we have high altitude areas, especially mountains like the Ras Dashen, which is the largest mountain in Ethiopia, which goes up to 4,600 meters. And of course, rainfall is highly erratic. And if someone moves from north to south to Ethiopia, it looks as if he or she is moving from different country to the other. It's not, it doesn't seem as someone is walking within the same country because of the diverse topography as well as, and also, of course, the climatic variability is also connected with the topography and the other climatic factors. It is very diverse. And coming to soil carbon sequestration, of course, soil carbon sequestration is an issue, especially given the problem of climate change. I would say this soil carbon sequestration, especially in the agricultural sector, has high potential, but I would say it is underutilized so far, because I have strong farms that we didn't give the required attention to it. Of course, this soil carbon sequestration, just to begin from the definition, it is the process of transferring carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas, and which has a potential to cause global warming from the atmosphere into the soil through a natural process, mainly photosynthesis. And it has a number of objectives. And the first objective is, of course, offsetting anthropogenic emissions from different industries and others. And again, on top of offsetting anthropogenic emissions of greenhouse gases, it has huge potential to reduce net increase of atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide, restoring soil health, improving soil organic carbon, and also improving water holding capacity of the soil, especially for agricultural land. This has a lot of meaning, and also in relation to enhancing soil water infiltration in soil to recharge groundwater instead of causing surface runoff, and of course creating climate smart soils, a soil that is resilient to different climate risks. And of course, it also reduces or suppresses especially soil-borne microorganisms that are devastating to crops. And again, agronomic productivity is also, which is a key factor to enhance agricultural production and productivity, is also one of the benefits that soil carbon sequestration offers. So coming to agricultural-based soil sequestration practices that are currently being implemented by smallholder farmers in different parts of the country, the first one is minimum tillage, especially in the southern and the southeastern part of the country. Forest-dependent farmers practice this minimum tillage and or conservation agriculture. And of course, in the highland and also in the central highland of the country, several millions of smallholder farmers are practicing crop cover. And of course, returning crop residue to the soil after crop is harvested is a practice being highly recognized by smallholder farmers. Previously, smallholder farmers used to take away crop residue after harvesting, and they're using it for different purposes, including house construction or livestock feed, or even for fuel wood. But recently, they started recognizing the importance of leaving crop residue or returning crop residue to soil. This is also a practice that is being widely adopted by smallholder farmers. Crop rotation is, of course, it has been there for a while, even though the focus was mainly from the soil fertility management point of view. And of course, the other practice that is, which is highly and widely implemented by smallholder farmers, is growing perennial crops. Perennial crops, unlike annual crops, especially coffee and insect. This is insect, it's called, its scientific name is Insect ventropossum. It's a perennial crop, and more than 25 million smallholder farmers in the southern, in the southeastern, in the western part of the country are largely depending on this plant. And this plant, on one hand, it is perennial crops, so it can sequester greenhouse gas throughout the year, and also because it is also resilient to climate change, and especially during drought season, since it is drought resistant, unlike other cereals like teff or wheat or barley. It's a crop which is highly promoted in the country. Mulching is also, of course, there. And of course, the other thing is, which I would like to mention, is integrated soil fertility management, which was even included in Ethiopia's recently launched long-term low-emission development strategy, which aspires to build net zero greenhouse gas emission by 2050, and also to build a climate resilient economy. This one is also a practice which is widely implemented by the farmers. And the other thing is restricted pre-grazing. Ethiopia is, we claim that, has the largest livestock population in Africa. That means millions of cattle, sheep, and goats, more than actually 60 million cattle, about 30 million sheep, and about 42 million goat. And one of the practices that aggravates land degradation is free grazing, especially during dry seasons. We leave livestock to freely graze in grazing lands as well as agricultural lands, which gives small option for crop residues to remain in crop fields. But this currently, this practice is being abandoned or being restricted. So these are some of the agricultural-based options, practices that Ethiopian smallholder farmers are currently practicing. And coming to the adverse effects of reducing soil carbon is...
You have only 2 minutes left. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm about to finish. So in addition to creating burden to greenhouse gas emission in the atmosphere, depletion of soil organic carbon has a number of devastating challenges when it comes to agricultural production and productivity, including depletion of plant nutrients, decreasing water holding capacity, decreasing cation exchange capacity, increasing soil surface erosion, and also reducing soil microbial activities, and eventually leading to reduced crop yields and the quality, which are key factors that cause both food and nutrition insecurity. So to conclude, I would say, like I said earlier, agriculture has untapped potential to enhance soil carbon sequestration, but the focus has been given only to afforestation and reforestation. And of course, because of this, I would like to underline that increasing investment is needed to scale up agriculture-based soil carbon sequestration practices. Of course, it is also important to come up with evidence-based modeling, which enable measuring soil carbon sequestration potential, which paves a way to introduce carbon-based payments to smallholder farmers to help them benefit from their practices instead of, on top of just agricultural produces, and also sustaining their production, the productivity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shifaro, for a very good presentation, showing us how we can actually maximize the soil carbon sequestration in our soil, but also how do we do that? My question when we started, I was like, how can someone do this? So to maximize on the carbon side, the climate change, mitigation and adaptation, but also on increasing the food security issues that we have we are dealing with as a crisis globally. So you have gone through all the recommendations on also the way, the methodology that we have been using and testing. It will be good to hear more when we have some questions, how you have been getting benefits from this, and also your recommendation for someone who would like to start this, especially on growing perennial crops so you don't disturb the soil that much. So thank you very much. Let's hear the last presenter on this session, Mr. Tepuo Chan from the Philippines, who will be speaking about climate resilient and sustainable agribusiness. So the floor is yours, Mr. Chan, if you can hear me. Kindly share your presentation.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. So can you put it on slideshow? We can see the presentation. Thank you. You may start.
Okay. Yeah. Hello. I'm happy to be invited to talk about the climate smart agriculture approach in the Philippines, which is part of Asia. My name is Tepuo Chan from GGGI Philippines. I hope this presentation will serve as a platform to seek more opportunities for collaboration between Africa and then Asia experiences. So I would like to share a Kuika-funded project called Climate Resilient and Inclusive Green Growth for Poorer Rural Communities, Accelerating Implementation in the Agriculture Value Chain. It's basically a project that aims to enhance agriculture value chain of agri-MSMEs in one of the provinces of the Philippines called Oriental Mindoro. Just to briefly give you a snapshot of the project, it is composed of four main targets. First is developing a climate vulnerability risk information system, the CVRES, and related climate resilient policies. Basically, CVRES is a tool that aims to collect, digitize, analyze, and disseminate key information relevant to agriculture and climate change vulnerability. Second is establishing a provincial agriculture center, which aims to provide incubation, facility rentals, aggregator services, linking local farmers to market for agri-value chain innovation. Third is providing investment and technical assistance plan to targeted agri-MSMEs to enhance sustainable business operation. Fourth and lastly is establishing a private sector advisory group to provide strategic and technical guidance of private lead firms to the beneficiaries. And today I would like to explain a bit more about output one, which is the CVRES. So what is the CVRES? In a nutshell, it is a climate adaptation tool developed exclusively in the provincial level so that the decision makers of the province can take actions based on the insights provided through the tool. This diagram shows the workflow, how the system works. The CVRES in the middle is a digital online system that will collect and digitize the local data that is relevant to climate change and agriculture value chain. And then it analyzes and disseminates the digitized data so that it provides governments the basis for data-driven policy planning, and for the public, information for enhancing awareness. This is a quote by the governor of the province, where he sees CVRES as a game changer for disaster risk planning for the province. So these are the key services or functions provided through the tool, and the actual screenshots of the beta version that is being currently operated. First one is called the Explore function, which visualizes the various data under 4 themes that define the climate risk vulnerability, which are hazard, exposure sensitivity, and adaptive capacity. And the tool enables to visualize these data into one layer of mapping for easy to understand information. For example, in the first screenshot, it shows data layer of storm surge, and then rice field. So you'll be able to easily identify which of your rice field is located in the storm surge areas. And then next is called the assess function on the right. Simply put, we are providing the computed climate risk scores based on the database framework of risk that is on the right side that defines the risk. This page will provide a general comparison of how climate risk is compared to other locations. Download page on the left down side will be able to retrieve the data in organized numerical formats such as Excel format, so that the users can easily use the data for further analysis. And then lastly, the management page is only accessible for the authorized focals who will be managing and uploading the data for this tool for sustainability and then ownership manners. So before ending the presentation, I also wanted to share some of the next steps we are exploring to improve and enhance the system. First is analyzing the machine learning feature in the tool. One key issue is simply there's a lack of data on crops and farms in the provincial level, which is crucial to see the climate risk and resilience of agriculture sector. So what we did is by introducing innovative technologies to identify certain crops, the technologies decrease the amount of time to collect crop data from multiple years to months, for instance. And then second is the development of the holistic landscape-wide climate resilience approach that includes agriculture value chain enhancement, climate smart agriculture, carbon credits from reforestation serving as a revenue base for landscape restoration efforts and others. And lastly, we are also looking for a replication of the system and idea throughout the country. For example, there was a recent interest from an organization called National Information Society Agency of Korea to upscale the CVRES to a nationwide system. So these are some of the next steps we are looking at. And actually, this ends my presentation. So, and thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chan, for an interesting presentation and information. You have done very well, and you are responding actually to the purpose and the essence of this global green growth organized by GGGI, to share information, to share knowledge, and to share also experiences and resources. So you can see from Mongolia to Burkina Faso, to Ethiopia, now to the Philippines, that we can learn from each other and apply, because the crisis is the same and is affecting us, especially on the continent of Africa, but also other countries in developing countries, especially. So when you look at this tool, I believe it will be very useful if you would like to have a targeted policy-oriented solutions, but also sharing it with the rest of the world is very beneficial. So I would like to thank you. I don't know if we have any question, but we only have 5 minutes left. If you have any pending question, kindly share it in our chat. Otherwise, I would like to invite you to the second session on the climate smart agriculture, focusing on technology. Kindly continue to be our guest, and I thank you very much on behalf of the Global Green Growth Institute. See you later and have a great week. Bye-bye.